Who could you sue on this one? Any suggestions? Who? Correct. But if you look here, the left side of the door is crushed. So it makes me wonder, maybe a phantom vehicle may have hit this car, driven into the guardrail. So the vehicle probably took off. And if you don't know who it is, then you're going to have to sue your company under your phantom vehicle coverage. There's a lot of litigation on defective guardrails. You know, if this isn't made where it's supposed to absorb a lot of impact, then there's a lot of litigation. You can sue the person that manufactured, designed, and installed the guardrail. And again, you know, if you're the passenger, you can sue the driver. If you're working, it's all kind of ways of getting coverage eventually. We have a lot of these airbag cases. A lot of times the airbag does not deploy, then you may have a product liability case. Sometimes they deploy, they're not supposed to. Imagine you're going down a road, all of a sudden your airbag deploys, you run off the road, not your fault, then you could have the fun of suing the company that makes them. It's actually in bankruptcy, but that happens often.
But the defective Takata inflators blow up like a grenade instead, sending shrapnel throughout the cabin of the vehicle. And instead of saving lives, it's killing people.
We had a case a couple years ago, the inertia gear on a car did not grab when it should have, and a client went through his brain. He ended up dying, unfortunately, for brain damage. So we sued Toyota because the inertia gear did not hold and keep his head from going through the windshield. What's the answer to this? If your family member borrows your car and causes an accident, are you liable? Everyone agree? Answer is yes. If they're not an agent for you, the parents may get out of the lawsuit, but your insurance company is going to be in there. Unless the person has a real bad driving record, then they may sue you for negligent entrustment. This is an interesting case. If you let your minor kids drink at your house and they go out and they injure someone or kill someone, are you liable? How many say yes? Right. What if someone leaves my restaurant here and they're drunk and they kill someone? Am I liable? You're getting close. Not there yet. We're not as of now. But because of this case here, where the Court of Appeals found the parents were liable because they let their kids drink when they were minors and knew or should have known they were drunk, they were held to be liable. So we're concerned eventually they'll start holding restaurants liable. We're not yet here. We don't have the drum shop. Other states do, which will make our insurance a lot worse. When I was running the restaurant, you know, we try to not to serve someone and someone else gives them a drink. So, but this was a case that may change their drum shop law. The reason I put this in here, a lot of times you have insurance and they'll deny coverage. I mean, this is a pretty lady, and we see more and more cases in our office on sexual harassment. You know, people get fired and they will sue for wrongful termination, sexual harassment, something like that. And just as an example, your insurance doesn't cover this. Or if you hit someone in the nose, you know, it's an intentional act. So sometimes I think you can pay extra for insurance for items like this if you want to. But if you have a lot of employees, you have to be real careful what you do, what you say, and all that. Hostile work environment. We get people call, they think they want to sue their employer, you know, because it's hostile work environment. Okay, this happens a lot. Someone runs into your car, and the insurance company says, okay, we're going to give you $10,000, but you owe 20. Happens often. What do you do then? Beg your pardon? Sometimes, now, if you have something called GAP, if you buy a car and you finance it, usually the banks require a thing called GAP. And that we use that a lot, and they'll pay the difference. A lot of people will owe money, then you buy another car, now they're very under what it's worth, And sometimes they owe 20,000 more, and if you have gap, that pays that. If not, you're up the creek. If anyone has any questions as we go through, just let us know. A lot of times we wish people had gap, because if a defendant's drunk, and you can't tell the jury usually they're drunk, they'll say they're negligent, and then if you owe more in your car, clients get upset, they got to pay this money because the car, they owe more than it's worth, and it's the end of, so try to get gap if you borrow money on a vehicle. Anyone ever heard of this diminished value? So say your car is fixed, and then you take it in to CarMax, and they look under the VIN number, and it's been repaired. What do you think they're going to say? We're going to give you $5,000 less because it's been repaired. So we then sue the insurance company for diminished value. We do this in almost every case. We have an expert look at it. The send-outs were $4,000 or $5,000 less because it was involved in an accident, and the VIN number picks it up. So we go after the defendant for that. What do you think happened here? The deck's missing. This is an actual case we had. I think at one time, and we went out, there was a deck here. The people went through a divorce. I think the wife didn't have much money. The deck fell down. Our client walked out here one night around midnight, and she ended up in shock trauma. So fortunately, even though the house was in foreclosure, they did have homeowners insurance. They paid for this claim. When I went up there, I couldn't believe it. It's like a lawyer's dream in a minute. Unfortunately, they had insurance. Slip and fall cases. This is why you carry insurance, like on your house and all that. We get calls all the time. When it snows, people say, I slipped and fell on the sidewalk, and I hope it's not a place that I own. But even the cost of defending these suits, insurance companies usually will pay a lawyer to defend it. This banana case down here is a case we would not have taken. It was down Eastern Shore. It was a food market, and someone goes out in a food market at night. I think the parking lot was dark. They slipped over the banana peel, and they sued, and they won. The jury concluded because the banana was black. It had been there, and the owner of the store knew or should have known. It was a $180,000 verdict. We wouldn't have taken it. And we've had some at the mall where a slice of pizza stuck to the floor because it's dry stuck. Then we say, well, the mall knew or should have known it was there. But slip and fall cases, there could be challenging. But if you have insurance and someone falls at your house, at least your insurance company will pay for it. And most homes have a thing called MedPay. So if you're injured in your house, the insurance company should pay your bills up to usually $5,000, no matter who's at fault. How many of you have a dog? Some people have several dogs here. So your homeowner's policy, if your dog bites someone, that's Pelosi, by the way. This poor guy never got up to on this deer. But your homeowner's policy will usually pay for dog bite cases. We get a lot of egregious dog bite cases. We just hope usually there's coverage. We have a case now where there was 2 dogs that bit our client, egregious, terrible, very egregious injuries. And we kid because one looked like a pit bull, one wasn't. So we keep saying it was the non-pit bull because insurance companies deny coverage on the pit bull and Rottweilers. So we say, it wasn't that one, it was this one that bit you. But the animal report has both of the dogs biting our client. So the law has oscillated on dog bite cases, but for the time being, if your dog bites someone, it's presumed that there's going to be coverage. And there's no laws have changed. If your animal's injured, you could get up to $10,000 now through medical bills. Now Sue, who's got, you got 5 dogs. I don't know if they would pay $50,000 and 3 cats or not.